Okay, this is racer on way Nevada. This will be what Deku had Crazy Diamond. For the last part we left off, we were doing a physical exam for quirks. After all the students leave, we cut to the next day. All Might busting through a door, telling all the students they're going to be on a battle test. Now, once everyone hears this, All Might presses a button and pulls out all their costumes. Tell them to get dressed and meet me outside. Once they hear that, they all grab their costume and begin to change. Now, before we show off Deku's costume, we cut to a flashback. Deku's mostly thinking about his hero costume, wondering about what he should do and what he should add on to it. Deku is stumped, not knowing what to do with his costume. Begins to wander around his room. Then he accidentally breaks his alarm clock. He looks at it and uses Crazy Diamond to fix it back. He basically looks at his stand saying, besides healing, you're almost close to Star Platinum. He gets to mutter Star Platinum 3 times until he gets an idea and calls Jotaro. He picks up his phone and calls Jotaro, basically asking him for advice about his hero costume. Jotaro looks at his phone and asks, "Why did you call me again?" Deku tells him, "Well, you have more experience with your stance, so I was just wondering, what should I do for my hero costume?" Jotaro tells him, "I'm not completely sure." Deku tells him, "Please, I need your help. You're the only one I know who has a stand. And plus, you have more stand experience than me. So, can you please help me?" Jotaro sighs and tells him, "Fine. But when it comes to Flashy, I can help you there. I'm going to help you actually build a costume that will actually help you in battle." Deku tells him, "Thank you. So, what should I do?" Jotaro tells him, "Let's think about your strengths and weaknesses. You're very strong, your stand is very fast, somewhat durable. Not only that, but you can also heal and rearrange things with your stand." Deku tells him, yes, Crazy Diamond can do that. Jotaro tells him, yeah, but the negative is the fact that you can't heal yourself with it, which is some of your downside. You should probably get a suit of armor for yourself. That way you won't take too much damage. Even if your armor gets destroyed, you can literally just fix it back with Crazy Diamond." Deku begins to write all this down and asks Jotaro, "Is there anything else I can use?" Jotaro tells him, yes, you should probably get something that you and your stand can throw at someone. Deku asks, "What do you mean by that?" Jotaro tells him, "Our stands are great close up. It's better to get some range attacks in there." Deku asks, "So what should I use then?" And Jotaro basically tells him, "You figure it out yourself," and hangs up. Deku begins to wonder, and he basically says he'll figure that out later, and begins to design his costume. In a flashback, we see Deku coming outside with his hero costume on, basically a suit of armor. When it came towards designing the costume, he basically took some inspiration from Crazy Diamond, including about the part where there's tendrils coming out of Crazy Diamond's back. He basically designed that as a mask for him. So you see the faceplate of Crazy Diamond, the armor that's around his head. Think of that around Izuku's head as a breathing mask. Deku wasn't really sure about what he should use for projectiles, so he done a little bit of research and decided to use throwing stars. Now, for the hero test, Deku will be facing off against Bakugo, as he did in the original. All Might gives him a few minutes to basically think of a strategy. Deku basically tells Uraraka just to stick with him, so he can deal with Bakugo, and either Uraraka agrees with him and begins to look at the building structure on the map. Once time begins, they both head in. Once they head inside, Deku punches multiple holes into the wall. Uraraka is basically wondering why he's doing that. He's basically giving away the location. Deku basically tells her it's part of my plan. Once Deku's done punching holes in walls, he basically puts his hands on his stars, waiting for a few minutes until Bakugo rushes throughout the corner, screaming out Deku. Deku holds up 3 stars and breaks 2 of them, throwing all of them at Bakugo. He sees this happening and Bakugo jumps over them, basically running down Deku, telling him, "You think you're special just because you transferred different schools? Doesn't matter. Once a Deku, always a Deku." Bakugo tries to use the explosion, but Deku grabs his right arm and slams him into the ground, like the original. While Bakugo's still on the ground, Deku begins to quickly scan over Bakugo and wonder what are these gauntlets for. Before Bakugo can do anything, Deku breaks off a piece of one of the gauntlets. Deku also broke his gauntlet in 2 pieces. One of the pieces that he broke is basically the piece that hangs off of the gauntlet. The other half that he also focuses on is basically where the hole is. You can see on the picture. Again, he also using Crazy Diamond to basically break the pieces off. Now he begins to wonder about what should he do with that piece. and makes a ponder about it, but for right now he needs to focus on Bakugo. After getting his left gauntlet stomped on, he used an explosion to send Deku farther down the hallway. Deku using Crazy Diamond to basically punch a hole into the ground, stopping his momentum. Bakugo begins to rush down the hallway after him again, and they seem to go hand in hand. Deku tries to punch him, but Bakugo uses his explosion as a smoke screen. Deku blocks this, thinking this is an attack, but he hears another explosion over his head. Deku hears it, and at the last second, he uses Crazy Diamond's arm to block the explosion. Bakugo aiming for his back, sending Deku a few feet away. After getting launched back, Bakugo begins to shout, saying, "What, you think you're so special just because you got some weird quirk?" But Deku doesn't care. He rushes at Bakugo, and Bakugo uses an explosion. But unbeknownst to him, Deku uses his quirk against him, making Crazy Diamond grab his arm and basically launching him down the hallway where he just came from. After rolling and landing back on his feet, he basically gives the exact same speech that he did when he about to pull one of his pins. All Might tells him to not use that. Bakugo tells him don't worry about it. He can either dodge or use his weird quirk to stop it. After hearing that, Deku decided to pull out the pieces of the throwing star that he broke. After using Crazy Diamond to fix them, basically launching him right into Bakugo's back, basically causing him to stop. Deku puts his fingers on his earpiece and tells Uraraka to get ready. He basically grabs a few more throwing stars and uses Crazy Diamond this time, basically throwing him much faster, and before Bakugo can even pull the pin, he has to dodge. Bakugo continually dodging the ninja star, while Deku begins to rush right towards him, while Crazy Diamond is basically picking up the ninja stars in Deku's kit. He basically gets close enough to Bakugo and basically punches him. Make sure that the gauntlet is mostly aimed down. Uraraka grabs a piece of Bakugo's gauntlet and throws it at Deku, grabbing it and basically trying to swing with it like a baseball bat. But Bakugo knocks it away. After throwing that piece to Deku, she begins to go through the holes in the wall, getting close enough to Bakugo. After knocking it away, Bakugo tries to hit Izuku with his gauntlet, but Deku either blocks it or basically stops it. But he gets an idea. He calls out Crazy Diamond and makes it go behind Bakugo, grabbing the piece of the gauntlet he broke earlier. After Bakugo tries to swing on him again, he basically grabs his right arm. Bakugo tries to punch him with his left hand, but Crazy Diamond uses his ability to fix the gauntlet back to him. But instead of just letting it go, he uses that ability to drag Bakugo closer to Crazy Diamond. Bakugo is confused, wondering what's pulling him back. But before he notices, Uraraka comes through the broken wall. She puts the capture tape on Bakugo's left arm. Then he tries to kick her, but in the process, then he grabs the tape, completely tying him up with it. Just to make sure Bakugo doesn't get angry and tries to ignore the test, he decides to merge Bakugo with the wall. Just his hands and feet sticking through the other side of the wall. Once Deku's done, they both look upstairs for Ida. Once they find him, Deku wants to find the best way to distract him. So he uses Crazy Diamond to break off a big chunk of a pillar and throws at him. While Crazy Diamond breaking off the pillar and throwing at him, he also using his ninja stars and throwing at him too. Ida rushes towards Deku and basically tries to kick him, but using Crazy Diamond to basically push his foot out of the way. After Crazy Diamond moves his foot, Deku punches him right in the mask, basically knocking him over. He gets back up and charges right back at him. Unbeknownst to them, Uraraka basically touches the bomb. After Uraraka touches the bomb, All Might tells them the hero team wins. After hearing that, Ida looks at the bomb and sees that Uraraka is touching it. Ida stops and congratulates both of them on the win. Deku asks, "Are you okay?" Ida basically looks at him and tells them, "Yeah, I'm fine." Once they're done talking, they begin to head outside the building. But every hole that Deku made, he basically used Crazy Diamond to fix it right back up and taking Bakugo out the wall, but knocking him out first. Once they get back inside, All Might begins to ask who's the MVP, but we're just going to skip over that. All Might tells him, "Alright, now we're going to do the next test." All Might looks at Deku and basically asks, "Quick question, is it possible you can heal some of the students?" Deku looks at him and says, "It depends on how bad the injury is." All Might tells him, "Good, in that case, then we don't need to be worrying about that, since I won't let that go too far."